Hello, everyone, and welcome to One Tech World. My name is Oluchi, and I am a product manager, a digital entrepreneur, a woman in tech in the edtech space. And you're welcome to this conference. In this session, I'm going to be talking about moving from imposter to influence. How do you transition from a phase of not believing that you're deserving of the things that you've gotten to a place where you have a voice, you can own what you've done, you can own your achievements, and then you can talk about it. That's what we'll be looking at in this session, and I'll be sharing my slides in just a little bit. This is what we are looking at from imposter to influence, a practical framework for women in tech. Have you ever been at that point where you felt like the certification you got, the award you were given, the book you wrote or you published, the speaking engagements that you were called for or that you participated in or that you facilitated, you felt like they probably made a mistake or that you were not deserving, and that maybe one day the mask will fall off and people will see you for who you truly are? I can relate to that experience. I once entered in for a competition, and even though I was still in my home country then, and the host, the organizer of the competition, was even here in the United Kingdom, I entered in for that competition and I didn't put much thought into it. I did what I could, submitted my entry, and one fateful day, I saw that I had been announced as the winner. Wow. I wasn't expecting it, but I was excited. I was happy. I was elated at the news, but imposter syndrome kicked in. And I was thinking to myself, I've gotten this award, but is it really what it is? Is this an international award? Can I say that I am an international award winning creative? What's the meaning of the word international? And I went to Google, I was searching for the meaning of the word international just to be sure that I was saying the right thing and I wasn't claiming what was not mine. And I wasn't attributing myself a title that wasn't. That's how bad it was. I went on Google and I searched international, I searched international award, I searched the meaning of international award winning. I checked over and over again because I did not want to put out that news and then have to go back to apologize and say, I'm sorry, I'm not an international award winning new creative. I didn't want to go back. And that was imposter syndrome kicking in so bad. Can you relate to this story? If you can, I just want to let you know that you're not alone. And a very important fundamental fact that I need to lay here is that you didn't get here by accident. You work hard, but you still second guess yourself. You deliver results, but downplay your impact. You belong, but sometimes you feel like you don't. That tension is where this conversation begins. But register it in your mind that you didn't get here by accident. That feeling has a pattern. So it has a pattern. It has times that it shows up. Imposter feeling doesn't show up when we're small. It shows up when you have achieved something. When you are a high achiever, that's when it shows up. So it definitely means that you're doing something right. It means that you're on the right path. It means that you're working and people are acknowledging that work, they're seeing that work, and so they're attributing the successes that you have achieved to you. Sometimes you say it's luck. Oh, they compliment you, they talk about the good things that you've done, and you wave it off because you feel like you got there by luck or by chance. You do not acknowledge or internalize the fact that you've worked hard for this, that you own it, and that it belongs to you. According to Psychology Today, it's reported that 54% of women feel imposter syndrome. Now, this imposter syndrome, also referred to as imposter phenomenon, is something that was discovered in 1978 by two American psychologists, Pauline Clance and Susan Imoh. And they described this as an internal experience of intellectual phoniness experienced by those with outstanding academic and professional achievements. You've earned your spot here. You've earned the right to speak up. You've earned the right to be called what you're called, your job title, your job role, or your business role, your business title, founder, co founder. You've earned the right to be here. So, imposter feeling doesn't show up when your influence is small, when you are not doing anything. It's actually when you're working. And it shows up when your influence is expanding. And too often it's misread as a signal We misread the signal and we shrink back instead of stepping forward. We stay silent rather than speak up. That's the pattern. And what's the cost of this? It's actually costing you something. It's the silent tax. You're paying for it, but you do not know. It is not just a feeling, it's a resource leak. So every time you spend doubting your seat at the table, if you're meant to be here, if you did the presentation right, if the award given to you was actually yours or meant for someone else, it's a minute stolen from your next big breakthrough. Your ideas don't get to shape decisions. Other people take credit for your work, and the opportunities that are supposed to come to you, they slip past quietly. Now, if we place these two side by side, the imposter mindset and the influence mindset, we would see that imposter mindset uses energy to defend status and avoid mistakes. You're trying to avoid mistakes. And when you do make mistakes, you see it as something catastrophic. What does the influence mindset do? It uses the energy instead to solve problems and to create value for other people. So, what do you do if you begin to feel imposter syndrome rising up? Recognize the trigger and catch the thoughts. Trigger moments are those points where self doubt is switched on, even when evidence and competence are present. Moments like when you're being praised for a job you've done, when you've been promoted at work, when you've gotten visibility, maybe you put a post online and people like it, people can relate, and they're thanking you, they're sharing their thoughts. Imposter syndrome can arise in those moments when you're placed in a new or high stakes environment and when you're comparing yourself to your peers that you admire. So what do? Recognize the trigger, know when it's coming, and catch the thoughts. Nip it in the bud. So what's the thoughts? I don't belong here. Place it side by side against the truth. Rather than think you don't belong here, you say, I'm feeling nervous because I'm new here and this is my first presentation. Recognize the trigger and catch the thoughts. So what do you do when the trigger occurs? I'll share this, what you can do in 5 steps. And please, some of the things I'll be mentioning are not medical advice. If you know that you need medical advice, you can actually reach out to a therapist or a medical practitioner to advise you. So the first step is to name it. Label the feeling as imposter syndrome. It is not the truth. It is a feeling. It's not who you are. It's not what you are. Number 2 is to check your receipts. Learn to always look back at the things you've accomplished. I love documenting, and I have stories from when I started. I have stories from 10 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, when I was still younger and when I was still starting out in my journey, my career journey. And I look back on them and I say, I accomplished this and I accomplished that. This is who I am. This is what I can do. And that gives me fuel to keep going. It just lifts up my spirit and I just keep moving. The third thing you want to do is to talk it out. So talk it to a work buddy or a friend, or like I mentioned, a medical practitioner or a therapist. Once that feeling is out, once you've spoken it out loud, it takes off the pressure to be perfect. The fourth thing is to aim for progress. Now, you want to focus on your progress rather than perfection. Progress over perfection. That sounds cliche, but it is what it is, that you are supposed to be looking at the progress you're making rather than how fine it is, how perfect it is, how many likes you got, what commendation you got. You want to focus on your progress and give yourself permission to do that. And the fifth thing is to provide value. This is the start of impact and influence. Provide value. We oftentimes think that the things that we know in our job in the tech space, maybe you're a software developer, you're an engineer, you are a product manager, a business analyst, a UI UX designer, whatever it is you're doing, we often think that they're not that significant for some people and that it might not be of benefit to anyone, but I want to tell you that no matter the amount of knowledge you have, no matter how little it is or it seems to you, there is someone out there that needs it. So start to provide value today. Help in any little way you can. That is how impact starts, and that's how influence starts. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the ARC framework because we're looking at how to transition from imposter to influence, from that place of feeling like an imposter to that place where you're able to build influence. You're able to influence others to take action. You're able to influence others to begin to live the way they want to live, to pursue their dreams and to grow in their career. A is for authority, R is for resonance, and C is for connection. Authority, resonance, connection. The A is authority, the receipts method. So you're keeping a log of your wins. I remember in a certain place that I used to work, it was a thing, it was a culture for people to compliment you. If you wore a shade darker, maybe you tinted your hair a shade darker and you came into the office, someone was sure to notice on Monday morning, oh, your hair looks beautiful. It looks darker than it was on Friday. Someone was sure to notice. If you wore a nice outfit, someone was sure to compliment you. And so whenever I got a compliment, I would store it in a note on my phone, just so that I have those beautiful memories, just so that they can keep me fired up and it can keep me happy. So that's one thing you want to do. They're not directly related, but it's akin to this, it's close to this. So you have a document or a wins log. So when crisis of confidence looms and your head says you don't belong here, you have a documentation of facts, you have the evidence, and you have those things to prove. To prove it wrong, it could be like this, or you could customize it, tweak it to however you want it to be. So it will have the date, the win, the impact, and the proof of that thing. So if it was a compliment that you were given, you want to write it, something like this, the win, the impact, and the proof of it as well, you're going to write it out and keep a record of it so that you can look back on it from time to time. The next one is resonance, value over perfection. So great work does not speak for itself. You are the voice. You are the carrier of the great work. Your greatness personified. So speak up often, because influence is not about being the smartest in the room. It is about impact. You want to move from doing the work to owning it. Stop explaining. Start stating. Stop waiting. Start positioning. Replace, I might be wrong, with based on my observation, this is what I think we should do. Instead of saying, this is just my opinion, and you water it down, you want to say with confidence, my recommendation based on the data available is, and you state that out. And then we're also going to be looking at the third part, which is connection, the peer mesh. Influence is a team sport. Now, I want to share with you a 3-person rule you can adopt. Find a mentor above you, a peer beside you, and a mentee behind you. Also, join communities for women in tech, just like this. There are many amazing communities that you can join, because knowing that you're not alone in your struggles is incredibly liberating. And the road is easier to travel with confidence when you have support. So you know you're not alone. Did you know that Maya Angelou, even after writing 11 books, had this quote? She said, I've written 11 books, but each time I think, oh, they're going to find me out now. So you're not alone. When you join communities like this, you hear stories like mine, you hear stories from other women who are also experiencing the same. And it makes it easier to just go through the journey. So adopt the 3-person rule. And remember, you are capable, you're doing great, and you deserve to be here. You're not here by accident. Thank you so much for watching.